This is Neil Schneider from MTBS at GDC 2018. To my immediate right is Gregory Loudon. He's lead designer at Third Eye Studios, and we are actually trying out a game called Downward Spiral Horror Station.
Correct. Yeah.
It took practice, by the way. It took practice. Welcome to the program.
Yeah,
so, Downward Spiral, it sounds kind of foreboding. What's the story of Downward Spiral Horror Station?
Yeah, so Downward Spiral actually started as us wanting to explore a particular theme, and we found that the theme we wanted to explore, kind of Downward Spiral represented it. But the other thing I can say about our work and our games is they are inherently mysterious, so we want our players to kind of discover the meaning rather than us tell you what they mean. Okay. But it may be a major theme of the game, Downward Spiral, so let's see. I'll leave it at that.
Okay, well, what's the story of the game? What's the core of the game?
Yeah, so the game is a zero-gravity space thriller. It's playable in solo or co-op across HTC Vive, Oculus Rift, Windows Mixed Reality, and PSVR. The story is you essentially wake up on Horror Station and you find out it needs to be restored. And then in the game you discover why it needs to be destroyed, and I think it leaves you a bigger question of if it should be restored. So once again, it's part of the mystery and allure of, I think, the game and our studios, so I'll leave it at that.
Okay, well, I tried it out. A lot of fun. Can you talk a little bit about the game mechanics, how you get around the space station?
Sure, yeah. So the game mechanics are that you can use your hands to kind of using the motion controllers. You can grab onto things and push and propel yourself off. But we also have fun tools and hardware, both in terms of weaponry, if you choose to fight against the enemies, and also in terms of movement. So we have the grappling magnet, which allows you to shoot into a wall and drag yourself towards that, and the thruster. So it's completely focused on zero-gravity movement.
Did you have any inspirations when it came to putting this game together?
A huge amount of references. So I think, as you probably guessed, 2001: A Space Odyssey was a big reference, Solaris, but also in terms of musical scoring, There Will Be Blood has been a big reference in terms of Johnny Greenwood's use of music. So we're very lucky in the game. We're working with Ville Valo, who's a very famous Finnish rock star, who's from a band called Him. So he has this like incredible electronic ambient score, which I think players are really going to love and adds to the mood.
So this is intended for virtual reality. Is it available in traditional formats as well?
Yeah, and that's the exciting thing. We actually we have flat versions of it, and I think it's also a really immersive and great experience. So it's going to be playable on PC and PS4, and then if you have PSVR, you can get it that way as well. So open to even more players than just VR platform holders. When
you were putting the game together, was it originally intended strictly as a VR title and you decided to add a 2D version later, or do you think it works equally well on both solutions?
I think it works equally well, and that's the really exciting thing, in a sense that we kind of started with Prologue. Our first game actually is already out on Steam. You can try it. It's very short, but it kind of has a lot of the atmosphere. And we knew at that point that we want to bring this game to more players. So we'd already done a successful VR experience. We wanted to bring it across. So from the moment I joined the project, it was immediately, let's bring this inertia, let's bring this zero gravity to the flat version.
Now, what I found intriguing about this is it is a cooperative game. I mean, I suppose you could play it solo, but as you described, then it's a special experience when you're playing with someone else. Can you elaborate a little more as to how the multiplayer works?
Yeah, so the co-op, we actually introduce more puzzles. So we have elements where players need to cooperate. So for example, synchronize buttons, use key cards from what you saw, and also just allows, I think, having another player there for you and to bounce ideas off each other and try to understand the experience. The solo has some really cool puzzles as well, but it doesn't have anywhere near as many. But as well as co-op, we actually have PvP, so if you want to go out in space and shoot each other in the arenas, you can. And we also have PvE, we have a horde mode, where you can infinitely keep playing the game and compete for score. So we have lots of multiplayer features as well.
So how much time do you think people could play the game? Like usually, a AAA game could be several hours, 10+ hours. How much time do you think people could play this game?
I think with the multiplayer, obviously, you can play it as much as you like. But currently, we're looking at to probably be around 4 to 6 hours. But in saying that, we had a tester who played it in 10. And we've also found the moment you introduce co-op, it really slows things down when you're waiting for another player. So it's a hard thing to say. I think if you're really going to beeline and you want to forget everything else, you can probably maybe get it in under 4, but it's a substantial game.
Do you think there's room for expansions or to extend the story beyond what you have?
Yeah, I think so. We're really curious to see the player response. If people love Horror Station as much as we've loved making it and sharing it, then yeah, we'd love to keep doing more versions of the game.
All right, sounds good. Thank you so much for joining us. When will it be available? How will it be available?
Okay, it's going to be available digital only. and it's coming out this spring. We're going to have a release date very, very soon, but we haven't announced anything yet. So get ready. It's going to be available really, really soon.
And pretty much all the platforms, the PC-based platforms and console, I take it?
Correct. Yeah, PC, PS4, largely through Steam. We're going to be on the other stores as well. But if you have Windows Mixed Reality, HTC Vive, Oculus, PSVR, PS4, you'll be able to find the game. And yeah, follow Third Eye if you want to know more first.
All right, sounds good. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having us.
This is Neil Schneider from Meant to Be Seen at GDC 2018. We will, of course, be back with more. Thank you for watching.